she'll be the biggest female star ever because she can pull up from the parking lot.
She is a killer. She is stone cold.
Caitlin, man, she's a phenomenon.
She's the best female collegiate player ever.
Caitlin Clark is capable of magical things.
Fans are shocked when Caitlin Clark divulges a startling tidbit about her fever deal.
Knowing that before Caitlin was Rihanna and Diana and Sue and Rebecca and all of those, Dawn Staley as a player, where does it go? Can it continue to climb, and will it climb on the back of now Paige Bueckers?
For anyone questioning the Caitlin Clark effect, we now have people wanting to watch golf because of her. We saw the kind of offer that Ice Cube made to Caitlin to play in the Big Three. That is $5 million to play 3 months.
Let's break down the jaw-dropping revelation that Caitlin Clark is happy to receive the 28 flipping million since she was no longer just a basketball player and had become a cultural phenomenon. She just dropped a bombshell, revealing a shocking detail from her Fever contract that has left everyone in disbelief. Fans and insiders alike are stunned by what was revealed, adding more intrigue to her already impressive career.
Happy for her to get the 28 flipping million.
And after everything that happened to her in Tokyo, it's amazing, but we've never seen someone so successfully draw in a new audience and be able to fully represent a player in the world. In addition, her endorsement deals put Nike in a league of its own. The major players in the game, including Wilson State Farm, have all put their best foot forward. According to reports, Nike signed her for millions of dollars without even considering her. Caitlin Clark doesn't have to prove herself to anyone. Her name speaks for itself. State Farm most likely spent a lot of money on advertising merely to have her in one of those oddball ads. Wilson, the legendary basketball brand, essentially wrote her a blank check. Every transaction solidifies her status as a player and a worldwide celebrity. The WNBA was recently brutally exposed following the leak of Caitlin Clark's outrageous ticket sales, which revealed that she accounts for 25% of ticket sales, merchandise sales, and television ratings. Clark is basically the WNBA's stimulus package, bringing in millions for the league, yet despite all their revenue she helps generate, she's only making $76,000 a year. Let that sink in. The WNBA has a gold mine in Clark, but they're paying her like she's working the concession stand. It's a harsh reality they might not have noticed, but Caitlin Clark doesn't just play basketball, she changes the game. Whether the league likes it or not, the fans are here for her. The numbers don't lie, and neither does the passion she brings to the court. So WNBA, it's time to wake up, pay her, celebrate her, or watch her take her talents elsewhere. And we all know who would be losing in that scenario. Last season, Caitlin Clark didn't just play basketball, she transformed it into a national event. From sold-out arenas to skyrocketing viewership, the numbers were jaw-dropping. The Indiana Fever's home opener tickets hit $271 for the cheapest seat, more expensive than 29 out of 30 NBA teams' openers. Yes, you did read correctly. For comparison, Clark's performance in the WNBA created more buzz than the NBA's top players. A good seat at an NBA game or nose beds at a Caitlin Clark showcase may be yours for $271. Talk about priorities. It goes beyond ticket costs. Since being drafted, Clark is said to have brought in $36 million for the city of Indianapolis alone. Let's be clear, this isn't just the team. The city's restaurants, hotels, and other businesses are all benefiting, and Clark herself receives pennies in comparison to her influence. Fans are baffled as to how the league can justify paying her the same as players who, with all due respect, couldn't fill a high school gym. When it was disclosed that Caitlin Clark accounts for 25% of the NBA's overall income, one player 25%, social media went crazy. Comments such as "Clark is the reason this league is still afloat," and "How did she not have her own private jet by now?" began to pour in, but the WNBA's response was a mix of shock, indignation, and ridicule. Not to mention that Clark frequently attracted more viewers than Mark during her games on TV. NBA games, for instance, drew 3.2 million viewers, surpassing the 3 million attendance at a Warriors vs. Celtics clash. Yes, women's basketball did better than the NBA, but rather than celebrating this historic change, critics and even some WNBA players found reasons to be critical. The numbers don't lie, but the league certainly does. The NBA wants to pretend that its success is the product of collective growth, but let's face it, Caitlin Clark is holding the lead back. Without her, kicking and screaming's TV ratings and ticket sales would have drastically decreased. When NOS declines and those retail earnings vanish, the league ought to go over and beyond to make her happy rather than adhering to old-fashioned compensation schemes that make it clear we don't genuinely appreciate you fans are aware of this bullshit. People are calling for change on social media, pointing out how ridiculous her compensation is in comparison to her job. In reality, it's not just about justice, it's about business. You don't underpay the person who is in charge of your survival, and that's not only awful. It seems like the WNBA is too preoccupied with celebrating its incremental development to realize that the league is playing a risky game. If they don't change, they could lose not just Clark but also the momentum she has built. Players like her aren't common. There are once-in-a-generation players who have the ability to completely transform a sport. If the WNBA can't find a way to compensate her for her value, or at least nearly so, don't be shocked if other leagues or opportunities approach. In that case, the WNBA will only have itself to blame. The basketball sensation Caitlin Clark, who makes less than the price of a good SUV in her first season on the court, drops a bombshell after earning $10 million off the court. She has transformed her meager salary into a PR goldmine. Some corporations are ready to pay more than the cost of a house to fly Caitlin across the nation to have her grace their stage, while the WNBA throws her peanuts, while others are sweating over their 9-to-5 grind. Caitlin is cashing 6 checks just to show up and talk. The transition from college to the WNBA wasn't just about showcasing her skills. It was also about proving that she belonged at the highest level of the game. Critics like Swoops questioned Caitlin Clark's ability to handle the physicality and pace of the professional game, but Clark didn't just meet expectations, she shattered them. Caitlin Clark has turned her off-court presence into a financial empire, stacking up $10 million in the process. Yes, that's right. The rookie that everyone felt sorry for has more zeros in her bank account than some seasoned NBA veterans. She displayed a level of maturity rarely seen in first-year players with her versatility versus defenses, ability to play through contact, and propensity for making clutch plays in crucial situations. Swoop's original criticism of Clark went beyond only her style of play. She also raised concerns about her capacity to manage a group, implying that her personal achievement may compromise team cohesiveness. Once more, Clark exceeded expectations. One of the Fever's best assets was her selfless performance and capacity to inspire her teammates, whether it was her mentoring of younger players or her rapport with seasoned players like Kelsey Mitchell. She cemented her position as a team leader and a star player. As the season went on, Caitlin Clark showed that she was more than just a scorer. She was also a leader, and her influence was evident. Without directly acknowledging her earlier forecasts, Swoop changed the focus of her story to other elements of Clark's game. This wasn't the first time that Swoop's remarks fell flat. However, the sharp discrepancy between what she said and Clark's reality only made the drama around the ongoing fight more intense. After years of trying to define themselves, the Indiana Fever finally had a star who could lead them into a new era. Clark's rookie campaign wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a turning point for the team. Her unwavering work ethic and desire to get better.
To make, right? Like maybe in any other year, you give this to Simone Biles, because I think her comeback in the Olympics was amazing. I mean, people pretty much did the postscript on her career. And after what happened to her in Tokyo, like, it's incredible. However, I mean, we've never, ever seen somebody in this way capture an audience, capture a new audience, and be able to absolutely attribute.
Made her a perfect fit for White's vision. White underlined Caitlin's significance to the team's future success by stating that she is not only a fantastic player, but also a cornerstone for the future. After years of poor performance, Stephanie White's appointment as head coach of the Indiana Fever came with high expectations. From day one, White made it apparent that her focus went beyond technical changes, as the team required a cultural overhaul. Beyond X's and O's, she aimed to develop a winning mindset, foster trust in the locker room, and generate a team-first mentality. This philosophy became even more crucial after Cheryl SW made scathing remarks about the Fever's organization. Swoops depicted Discord as being unhappy and ready to depart, implying that players where she made harsh criticisms of the Fever's coaching and management style, claiming that the group was unable to identify talent and cultivate loyalty. Caitlyn has an unrivaled desire to get better. White stated that she wants to improve everyone around her, not only score points. She also made it a point to incorporate Clark into the team's current framework without offending seasoned players like Kelsey. Mitchell Swoops was quick to emphasize Mitchell's importance to the team's success despite criticizing the Fever for how they handled the unrestricted free agent who had just finished an incredible season. Mitchell's achievements were acknowledged and honored by highlighting her part in the team's ongoing development and stability. White's impartial strategy strengthened the team's unity and helped to refute any perception of favoritism. She discussed more general organizational adjustments that were necessary for the Fever's resurgence in addition to interpersonal relationships. White prioritized mental conditioning, added analytics-driven game plans, and conducted more intense training sessions to get players ready for high-pressure scenarios. These efforts paid off, as the players' win-loss record improved and they showed increased resilience in close games. Swoops, the story of a broken locker room, couldn't be further from a reality. Players frequently discussed the team's familial environment, detailing post-practice bonding trips and a common will to succeed. White's focus on accountability was crucial to this dynamic. She urged players to accept responsibility for their errors while simultaneously acknowledging and applauding their successes. As White sought to restore the Fever's reputation, she didn't hesitate to respond to Swoop's insults and promoted a culture of constant improvement. In a direct interview, she pointed out the errors in Swoop claims and urged detractors to consider the facts rather than rumor. Our players take pride in being a member of this group. White stated that the work ethic, chemistry, and will to succeed are all present. Anyone who says otherwise hasn't been listening. White's vision for the team's future went far beyond a single championship. She spoke passionately about creating a dynasty with Clark, Mitchell, and the rest of the Fever's core leading the drive. This was possibly the most striking portion of her speech. White clarified that in the face of doubt and criticism, it is now more important to leave a legacy than to win. White's steadfast faith in her group was a major factor in their comeback. When Caitlin Clark joined the WNBA as a highly anticipated rookie, the expectations were sky high. The Indiana Fever, in dire need of a game changer, had selected Clark in the draft, and everyone from fans to analysts had their eyes on her performance. However, one voice echoed throughout the basketball community with criticism. Clark's ability to navigate the challenges of rebuilding a franchise while countering external negativity and setting the record straight and focusing on what truly mattered not only silenced her detractors, but also laid the groundwork for a brighter future for the Indiana Fever. Legendary player and analyst Cheryl Swoops had been vocal in her opinion that Clark's style wouldn't translate to the professional level. She questioned whether Clark's style would succeed in the WNBA and suggested that the transition would be more challenging than many had expected. However, Caitlin Clark wasn't just any rookie. She was an unmatched talent and force of nature who had already redefined college basketball with her incredible scoring, playmaking, and leadership at Iowa, so her ability to make plays from anywhere on the court was undeniable. When Clark made the move to the WNBA, she promptly disproved the doubters, including Swoops. Caitlin Clark's first season with the Fever was nothing short of spectacular. She averaged 19.2 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists per game, solidifying her place as one of the league's brightest stars. In addition to dominating the game offensively, Clark's versatility made her an invaluable asset on defense. Clark's immediate impact on the Fever was undeniable, and she took on the role of a leader by not only putting up impressive stats, but also by improving the performance of her teammates around her. This was a sharp contrast to Swoop's early predictions that her more individualistic and score-independent style of play wouldn't work well with the WNBA's team-oriented structure. Swoops, who had a wealth of experience and league success, voiced doubts about whether Clark could translate her high-volume, high-scoring game to the professional level. However, Clark quickly allayed those doubts with her leadership on and off the court. Caitlin Clark did more than just adjust to the professional stage. She thrived as a rookie, contributing to every aspect of the game and setting the tone for the entire team. Her playmaking and court vision were exceptional, and her leadership on the court helped lead the team to their first postseason appearance since 2016. Although her numbers were impressive, what really stood out was her ability to improve her teammates, demonstrating that her influence extended beyond individual success. From the beginning, Caitlin Clark demonstrated leadership abilities, and Stephanie White, the head coach of Fever, saw right away that Clark was capable of much more than just scoring points. As the season went on, White's faith in Clark's ability increased.